Greetings and salutations, I am Kastana Vengmar, also known as Tavern of Linden, over on the Total War Center, and welcome to the tutorial videos for unit modeling and just unit modding. So in this video we're going to be doing strictly DB work, so it's not going to be focused on unit models and their textures and how to make them, but it's going to be focusing on descriptions, recruitment, and their statistics. So let's just get the screen up, and here I've already set up the tutorial section. We're going to be using a Gondor militia as our base recruitment, well, not recruitment, base statistics, and we're going to use a blank EDU for our unit descriptions. If you want to make these kind of changes, you're going to need to open export unit, which is in the text folder, export script unit, which is in the data folder. You will find it at the very bottom. We're not working with this one because this has to deal with textures, so we won't touch the battle models DB, but we will be touching this one, which is of course in the data folder with export to script unit, roughly in the bottom as well. You will need Notepad++ in order to do this kind of stuff. You can use Notepad, but it is not as useful and it's a lot more difficult to use it. So if you want to do this stuff and you want to have a bit of a easier time, then use Notepad++. So when you want to make these kind of units, of course you want to figure out what you want to call it. So this little parentheses section, fourth numbers are here. You can also highlight them. That first one will be your unit's name, and let's just give it a name. Unit. Yeah, very creative, but it will give us the idea of what we're doing. So in here, you're going to be using a name that will be pushed here. You're going to give it some name. We're going to give it unit entry, and it must always be like this. It must always have a I forgot what it's called, underscore, I think. So you're going to want to copy that, put it in here, and there's going to be two other pieces called underscore descript and underscore descript underscore short. This is your description, the unit's backstory, whatever. This is the shorthand one. You can type whatever one. You can type whatever you want in here. This is going to show up on the unit card in custom battles. This is going to show up in campaign or in battle when you right click it, when you pause the battle map, or when you're recruiting the unit. This will show up more often, the script. So you're going to want to put your unit's dictionary name in there. Now what you type here onwards is going to be your unit's description. I'm just going to type that and this. Now that EDU is done, what does this do? this just separates different units. So I suggest you always leave it there, because you can have the error where it gives you a different, where it gives you unidentified, whatever it's called, unit name. I don't remember what it's called. Here you're going to be typing, so we're moving into the EDU now. This is where you're going to type the unit export to script building's name. So this is the name you're going to use for your recruitment pool input, I suppose you can call it. So this is, we're just going to say we're going to make a unit for Dale. Let's say that's what we're going to be doing, because it says we're providing already. I'm not going to bother changing it, but you can switch these out with any other unit, depending on if you know. Make sure you know the locations and where units can be recruited as well. So yeah, we're going to want to do this real quick. Something you will want to know as well, ownership is going to be a thing we're going to talk about later. So we're going to make this unit for Dale. So let's find Dale. So we're going to go in the main folder. We're going to go type Dale. Keep finding it. There we go. We have Dale. So let's take one of their garbage. We'll just use Dale Dalian. Find this. There we go. As you can see in the normal thing, it works that way. You use your dictionary. You use the unit's dictionary name. This is called the type name. This is what goes in the thing, of course. So we're just looking for what faction they're called. Well, which faction they are in normal game. So they're Scotland, and we'll just copy all these as well. Don't be afraid to cannibalize descriptions, because it'll save you an enormous amount of time. Or just do what I do and, you know, be an idiot. Oops. I just did that again. Copy. Paste. There we go. So don't be afraid to copy paste everything. Here and here will be relating to unit models and their armor. So we're just going to get this out of the way. We're going to make a unit for Dale, so we're going to take the Dalian officers. So this is going to be, you can have up to 3 officers. So let's say we want a third. Copy, paste that. So we have that now. You can have up to that many. Now, soldier is what kind of, it kind of correlates to animation, kind of doesn't. I've never been too sure. Accent is the sounds a unit will make. I suppose I never understood the voice types because of how inconsistent they've been. I haven't really messed all that much with them, in all honesty, but you can kind of get the idea. This is, of course, this is going to be where in the soldier section, how many men this unit's going to have. So let's bring it down to 50. This is going to multiply let's see, I think it's by 0.3 or something like that. It's going to multiply by a certain factor when you go into when you edit the unit sizes and changes. It's going to multiply by a certain factor of, hold on, I'm testing this because I can't remember, it's been a while. It's going to multiply usually by either 3 or something like that. So let's do this times. Yeah, I think it's multiple of 3 point something. That's usually where it is. So this would be 158, I believe. So you have that. Effects are, this will influence whether or not a unit is effective against a certain kind of thing. I'm just going to keep these the same. You can edit them as much as you want. Here, you can probably leave these a lot the same, but I'm going to add another thing. I have to remember what it's called. It's the Legion description, and actually I can just leave that for now. I can mention this in a later video, but you can usually type something with Legion. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head because I rarely ever use it. Actually, I can just go in here. It's legionary. Copy. Oops. Don't do that. Yes. So we're just gonna copy that. Not ruin it. So we're gonna do this and that. And then in its unit card it'll say Legion, it would say Legio whatever. And that's how that's how that works really. This is what the unit can do. This is of course right here. The dimensions of its formation when you start the battle. It's the form it'll take usually. The spacing, the depth of men, how wide, if it's organized or if it's not. But of course that also correlates to trained, I think. But this also means morale. So we're gonna give it shield. I'm probably misspelling it because it's too early for me. Dude, enter. Let's just do this. Copy. No, I wasn't misspelling it. You potato. Tells you how much sleep I get, I suppose. But yeah, medical degrees, they're a pain. So this unit can now do a shield wall. This deals with a unit's hit points usually, but I can never really remember if it's the first or second. Of course, if you want to know, you can always check, and it's usually the first one. So we're not going to change it because there's no real point. This is a normal human unit, so why are we going to edit it? I should also put its name for this. Unit infantry, because I'm lazy. You don't want to put any of those in there. We're going to put this. or not, because it doesn't believe me. Copy, paste, let's check. So we're going to want to take this out. We're going to put, or not, A1. Battery, of course. I always forget. So let me just quickly do this. There we go. So that's one thing. I'm gonna check this. So we're fine already. Okay. So when you get all that stuff, you can of course edit the unit statistics. This is its charge. We're gonna keep this a sword and board, action board, whatever. So we're gonna leave it at a 6, but increase the charge, because why not? We can, here you can add armor AP or BP, which is armor piercing and body piercing. You can put that there. Second, we're not going to be dealing with primary and secondary, because this unit's only going to have one weapon. But if this was an archer or a javelin unit, this thing, all of primary would go to secondary. If it's going to have of course it's going to have a melee weapon as its backup, and you will put the bow statistics on the top in the place of primary. Armor, this just deals with its armor, so we're gonna increase this to, let's say, 10. That is 19 EDU. Let's change this to 6. I can never remember which one is a shield or not, but I think, yeah, it's always the last one that's shield. We're gonna keep that at 3. I'm too lazy to change it. Secondary, I'm not too sure really. This stuff, don't bother changing all that much. You can change morale to whatever you want. We're going to keep it at trained for our purposes. This is food. No one really changes that. This is your pricing for right here. This is campaign. This is battle map. I mean, not battle map, custom battle right here. This is custom battle, usually, I believe, because it has the restriction. This is going to be your campaign battle, or campaign. Armor levels, okay. Keep in mind how many armor levels your faction has, how many it can access. Really, Dale can only go up to 4, so we're just going to do a mid-tier unit, so we're going to go 2, 3, 4. That's the unit's armor levels. We will deal with the texture later, because that, or the texture name later, because that's going to be in the texture video, and the unit modeling and texturing video, or it may be separate. I don't know. Those later videos will be separate probably, because it'll delve a little bit into each other, but not that much. So we'll leave the name of the file, the texture file, or the battle models DB file alone. We won't touch that in this video. Ownership, this is who trains them. Scotland, of course, is Dale. You can put as many as you want to make a unit accessible to everyone. Keep it at slave, it doesn't matter. So then we want to do the recruitment pool. So as I said in the beginning, this is the name you will be using. So we're going to put here, here, and here. Now, the amount you have of each recruitment pool entry doesn't really matter, because you can have as many as you need, or you can make the unit accessible everywhere by just cutting this out, this entire section, because that is a restrictor. This makes it an AOR. We're going to keep it AOR so you know how that looks. Of course, you can take it off, make your unit accessible anywhere, but I'm going to keep it there for convenience. In front of the comma, you're going to put Scotland. My cat just opened the door somehow. That's great. That's just great. Sorry about that. Yeah, I just had to close the door, and I had to figure out a better way to bind the audio, I think. So back to this. This middle section, this is the actual information on when a unit is recruited. So let's see. It takes, I believe, 10 turns to recruit this unit, because this is 0.1. Or I'm doing it completely wrong, because I could not be. Yeah, it's 10 turns. So you'll use decimals to figure out how long you want to recruit this unit. I believe these numbers, let me check. So the one before the 0 is how many are accessible once the building is built. I believe the 0 is your limiter. I'm not entirely sure, because I've never messed with it. But the 0.1 will multiply into 100, of course, and give you the amount of turns you have until that unit is recruitable. We're going to keep it at 1, because I don't want to do math right now, even though I should, because this is a tutorial. Or I can just suck it up and put some random decimal. So let's try this. 0.5. Or I'm being stupid. I think I'm being stupid. 5 turns. 0.5. So we're going to make this 5 turns. Copy. Or, just don't. I didn't reach mute in time. Sorry about that. Come on. Do as I say. Do as your master compels. I don't know what I'm telling or saying. So this unit will recruit in 5 turns, essentially, and it will have 2 accessible at its building completion. And save. Oh no, wait. Correction first, before I end this video, because this can cause a problem. If you don't want it restricted, just cut this off. Anything past religion or region religion, whatever number, whatever religion it is, as in here, number, anything after this number, you cut off if you want it to be a recruitable anywhere unit. So yeah, this is all you need to know if you're going to be messing with a unit's recruitability, its name, or its statistics, just all that stuff. Of course, you would copy this entire section into the here. Make sure you put it in a place where it is actually the recruitment pools, and of course keep in mind where it's being put, because castles or different levels of barracks, you will have to edit the recruitment time and whatever it's called, really, recruitment input information. You'll have to edit that accordingly to make it slower or faster, depending on where it's recruited and what building it is. Always keep in mind that sort of thing. This won't change. You can just do this once and you'll be fine. Don't be afraid to copy paste anything. No one really cares about this kind of stuff, because two guys can always have roughly the same statistics for a unit, for 2 different units, and that'll be fine. So yeah, that is the first episode of this tutorial. It's awfully short. I thought it would be a little longer. But yeah, I will see you in the next video. But before I say that, I will say this first. I plan on making videos regularly, one video per week. I'm not gonna put a time for when it will come out, but 1 video a week. So I may do next episode of these tutorial videos next week, or I might do something different. I don't know. If you guys want me to start up a Divide and Conquer campaign, or you guys want to see me play 12-12, I am actually a alpha tester for the campaign. So if you guys want to see me play one of the campaigns, you can tell me in the comments. If you found this video helpful, good. You found it helpful. If you didn't, I don't know how to help you. But yeah, this has been a long time coming video. So I'll see you guys in the next video, whenever it comes out. Bye.